So Arsenal won 2-0 away. Comfortable victory. It was mainly the starters before the main course on Thursday, and a clean sheet. And I think that was our 8th away win of the season, which is something I think that we've not had in probably the last 2 or 3 seasons combined. Shows the lack of fans do make a difference because we're good away from home. But let's get straight into the player ratings, Kenny. Matt Ryan, not played many games. Every game he has played, he's not really had a great deal to do. But when he has been called upon, he seems quite competent, doesn't he? What would you rate him today? How did you mark him?
I marked him a 7 out of 10 for his handling and in understanding and coordination of defence. Matt Ryan, experienced Australian international, played a major tournament for his country, and it showed. Yeah,
100% agree with you. Only really had one decent save that he had to make, really. Acrobatic, took a deflection. But let's move on to right back. This has been a problem area for this football club this season. We've tried multiple right backs. We've tried Joe Willock at right wing back at one point this season before loaning him out. Bellerin was back in there. He was given the nod today. Did put the cross in that resulted in Elneny's goal, albeit he was aiming and Aubameyang. He was aiming at Aubameyang, who shanked it and claimed the assist. Well, can you see now why I don't rate assist? But Elneny patched it with consummate ease. What did you make of Bellerin overall? Because he has lost a lot of pace. I think we see that again today, but wasn't really challenged today. What did you make of his performance?
See, that's the problem with Bellerin's performance. The performance was fine. It was very good. He got past the halfway line. He wasn't exactly like pegged back by Richie, who hasn't got the pace. So in terms of today's performance, I was very pleased with it. I'll give him a 7 as well because of the fact that he did get beyond the Newcastle defence, and he was involved in the goal. So for me, 7. But again, the thing is, from a tactical point of view, and what we're expecting, what we know Villarreal are going to pose. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you think he'll start on Thursday, or do you think he'll go back to maybe Chambers there? Because Chambers is a lot more physical, and Chambers is probably quicker than him and can cross better than him as well.
It seems, and that's the thing at the moment. It's the amount of time, 2 or 3 years ago before he got his injuries, and first the groin injury and then the knee injury. We were having this conversation. We're still being happy with his performances defensively, but really and truly, I'm looking at Villarreal. No, ask to play Chambers.
Agreed. Let's go left-hand side. The much maligned Granit Xhaka up against a couple of tricky customers that kept rotating sides. At one point, he had Callum Wilson dropping in at that side, basically playing as a right winger rather than a striker, which I was baffled by at times. Then he had St. Maximan running at him at times. Other times he had Almir on to deal with. Listen, all 3 of them are very tricky customers. He is not a left-back. I thought he conducted himself pretty well today. What did you think of him?
I'm going to give Granit a 7 as well. I thought Granit did well for the opposition. You know, he benefited from the fact that Newcastle played with no cohesion. Their tempo was sluggish, wasn't aggressive enough, and that enabled him to basically get protection. And then it enabled he realised that because Newcastle were passive, that Martinelli could do all the sort of left wing attacking on his own. So today I'll give him a competent performance. That's why I'll give him a 7.
Let's move on to somebody who went off injured. David Louise maybe potentially has played his last game for the club. He's out of contract end of the season. Didn't look good for the fella. Played some lovely balls down the channels. Played some lovely balls over the top today as well. He has been our best centre back this season, despite people cussing him. Listen, he ain't the David Louise of old, but he is still a very competent centre back, and he's clearly our best. But did go off injured. What did you make of him before his injury?
Well, he gave us the dimension that I've always been looking for, and the ones I've been looking for. It's no coincidence that since he's been outside, in terms of defensive organisation and that link you want beyond the attack, something to run out the ball, we've missed that big time, and we're going to miss it on Thursday if he doesn't play and throughout the season. But for me, he was a 7 for me. I was very pleased with him, really pleased.
Let's go to his partner in crime, Gabrielle Megalisch.
Good game, a lot better than before. Newcastle, he was able to play defend really well. showed a bit of power, came out with the ball. Also, when he was out of position, he was able to track back. It was an easy game for him, I thought, really. So I'll give him a 7. But at the end of the day, I'm not gonna have a go at him for it because it was an easy game. If you've got an opportunity to play well, you take it. And he took
100%. 100%. Let's go into midfield. Mohamed Elneny got the ball rolling. First ever Premier League goal for Arsenal Football Club. He's only ever scored in Europe. What a hit as well. I think the keeper had a bit of a shocker with it. But listen, if you don't take a punt, you don't get the opportunity to score a goal. And he is what he is. I've always said this with Elneny. I don't dislike him because I think he undercomplicates things. He doesn't try to think he's better than he is. I thought it was a very, very good performance from him today. And a couple of people that came on the video calling show gave him man of the match as well and said, look, he got the goal. He was ticking it over. He is what he is. He's an average footballer, but he knows his limitations. What did you make of his performance?
You know what? 8 out of 10. Fantastic performance. Did everything that was required of him. He, like I said, he exhilarated his teammates. He scored a goal, which was a bonus, and he obeyed his manager. And Mohamed Elneny, right, when he leaves Arsenal Football Club, and if you look at his career, right, if you take away any prejudice you have towards him, I think you'll look and you'll say this guy gave everything for his teammates and for his club, and he was a credit to his country. And I think, you know, it saddens me that people don't look beyond that. I'm not saying he's going to be a world star, but, you know, look at what he's brought in the side to do. And if he's doing what the little he's asked to do, and he's doing it well, then you've got to say he's done well. Today he did what was asked of him. 100%.
Listen, like I just said, he doesn't complicate his game. He knows that he's not an all singing, all dancing midfielder that can jink past 4 and ping a screamer. Yes, he can ping a screamer, but he ain't going to jink past the 4 to do it. He's a limited footballer, but he knows that. And fair play to him, man. And let's move on to his partner in crime in midfield next to him, Danny Ceballos. First half, I was ripping my hair out, Kenny. I was like, number one, why is the guy still in the team? Yeah, when he's blatantly leaving at the end of the season. Number 2, why does he keep passing to Newcastle shirts? But I think he got better the longer the game went on. But having said that, it's your player rating, it's not mine.
Well, the thing with Darnay, he didn't do too bad, but I think the thing with Darnay as well, he's had the in his mind, he got himself sent off and could have cost his team and the club progression at the semi-finals. And the first half, Ragged tried. The thing is right, is that you're doing your done. If you do, you're damned. If you don't, you're damned. And the thing is, if Darnay was in the side to see if he can create an attacking impetus, and when you are trying to pass the ball and try to get us on the front foot, invariably you may give the ball away, but he wasn't the only player to do that. There was Newcastle players who were taking one touch too many and lost their footing. But for me, it's a 6. You know, he's not going to be playing on Thursday, and I think it's probably a good thing. But today, fair performance, not great, but fair.
Let's move on to the floating number 10, Martin Odergaard.
All right, nothing spectacular. You know, didn't dominate the game, kept things ticking over. 6. He is what he is. That's probably his performance like that. And I say it's a great respect to Martin. His performance like that is probably, you know, where probably Zidane is went, well, what is he doing? Is he doing enough to get my team? I mean, I've got players like Cisco, I've got Modric, I've got Kroos,
Valverde.
Valverde. And even if in the defensive, even if you wanted to play in a more sort of withdrawn role, we've got Casemiro as well. Though they play different positions, is he doing enough to get in my midfield? And today's performances made me think, well, maybe Zidane's thinking the same sort of thing. Yeah.
No, I agree. Let's move on to the left-hand side. Gabrielle Martinelli got the lovely weight of pass, the way he whipped that ball in for Aubameyang, who we're going to come to shortly, Aubameyang. But I thought his tenacity, his work rate, once he got that assist, if you want to call it that, obviously people will because that's what it is now, but it was a lovely cross. I thought after that, you could see his confidence grow even more. He was running off the ball. He was asking for the ball. He was showing. Whereas I thought at times he showed glimmers of class, and we know he's top class. But I thought he was a little bit reserved at times and getting a little bit shut out because he didn't have Granit Xhaka overlapping him. After he got that assist, I thought it was like he kind of shook that off and said, I don't care if Xhaka's overlapped me. I'm taking this game. What did you make of him overall?
Man of the match, fantastic performance. Like I said, he took his opportunity. He knew Newcastle passive, and he grabbed the chance. Great performance. Definitely knocking on the door for a start on Thursday. I'm giving him 9 out of 10. I thought that was I was really pleased with how he played today. Really, really pleased, and he did what I wanted. I want my forwards to get behind defences. I want them to create panic, and I want them to create time. Obviously, he didn't get in the areas to score goals, but he made himself a presence, and he created space for Aubameyang, and you can't knock him for that.
Yeah, on the opposite side, William Bogas.
Well, you know what? Again, the thing about it is just that I suppose when he plays at Chelsea, they're more on the front foot and they're playing more attacking football, and that enables him to get back into the game. With Arsenal, it's a different team, and it's a less confident team. But today, he did a right 6. Give him a 6. Great. He didn't do anything. But as I said before, no one picks themselves on the football side, and I wouldn't be too perturbed if he started on Thursday, because really, truly, who's actually doing anything? Obviously, I prefer Pepe there, but you know what? It's a situation where he's getting games because because no one's standing out really.
No, I agree. Let's move on to our club captain. Recovering from malaria, our manager said that he wouldn't probably be starting this game. Obviously, he then did start the game. And I actually thought he looked very sharp. He looks like he has lost a bit of weight. Listen, he's skinny and tall like me. He's 10 stone dripping wet, no doubt. But you could see in his face when he was in the line, when you see him lining up before the game, see he does look a little bit slim. More than normal, but I thought he was electric at times today. Like some of his movement off the ball, he bagged his goal. What a finish, by the way. His movement to peel off and just isolate that centre back and bang, what an instinctive finish. But hopefully he's going to be available and on it. And if we're going to win this competition on Thursday and in the Europa League in the total, in the whole, then we're going to have him firing. I've said this for weeks. We've said it on the podcast. I thought he was superb at times off the ball, which people wouldn't see necessarily because they're following the ball. Some of his runs were superb today, and he bagged his goals. What did you make of Aubameyang today?
I thought his performance today was very good, and like I said, it's knocking on the door. So I'm starting. He's that performance like that. He has to start. He plays like that. He has to start. And at the end of the day, regardless of what he's done this season, we have to have a goal threat because we are going to be under the top. Obviously, we talk about educated pressure, no gun ho, but if you are going to open up the Villarreal, then you're going to have to have someone who's going to be any chances that are created, and and Oba has to start. For me, I'm going to give Oba a 7, because I was happy with his moves. It's a bit rusty when he did get in position. There were times the first half and lost his striker, but again, it was one of those things where maybe a bit more sharpness, he could have got a hat trick today.
100%. Let's move on to substitutes. Callum Chambers came on for the injured David Louise. What did you make of him?
Steady Eddie. That's all he is. Steady Eddie. And for me, as a steady Eddie, I'd just give him a 6. He was competent. No spectacular, just competent.
Nicola Pepe came on second half. What did you make of his performance overall? And do you think he'll start on Thursday? Let me ask you that as well, because he obviously scored the penalty the other night, which got us back in the game.
Ooh, that's very interesting. That's very, very interesting because, like I said, there is a bit of conundrum. He was effective. He's one of the very few players who are effective. On Thursday, it's direct. Does give that thing, and he can run at players. But then again, you've got the conundrum of Martinelli's performance and who I expect to play at centre forward, i.e. Aubameyang. So if you're trying to shoe in Martinelli thing, the only vacancy for Nicola Pepe is at the right-hand side. But guess who plays there?
Saka.
So it's a bit of a conundrum. It's a very, very big conundrum. But again, last what he did do is cause any injustice because you just don't know. But today's performance, the game was already. I'm going to give him a 5 because the game was already won, and Newcastle just rudderless.
Thomas Partey came on as a sub in the second half as well. What did you make of?
No, it's just another fitness test. It's another just getting to stretch his legs. Getting warmed up for what I think is going to be like a massive, massive game for him, because there's going to be a lot of work for him. I think he'll be happier, that anyone other surprise is going to be playing alongside him. But for me, 5.
Let's move on to our manager. Massive crunch game on Thursday. It could be his last game if we don't go through. Who knows? Who knows what happens in football? We've seen tonight that Man United against Liverpool has been called off. So listen, anything can and usually does happen in this funny old game of ours. But 8 changes was the most changes any manager at Arsenal has made in the Premier League for a game since 1993. We got the victory. We got the clean sheet. We normally do all right against Newcastle, and that was the case again. What did you make of him overall?
Well, in terms of his 8 changes, he has the luxury of that probably James Delchel Graham didn't have 28 years ago. You're talking about the FA Cup final, where he played all the kids against Tottenham, where he made all those changes and he got battered. I think the players that have come in are actually bona fide first team players anyway. So what's happened is that he was lucky to the extent that the players had an opportunity to say, hang on here, we should be starting this Thursday. And if we manage to get to Gdansk, I should be in contention for the final. So he does have that kind of carrot. And he was able to choose his team accordingly. And it worked for him. It worked for him because, the team turned up for him today. And I'll give him a 7 today.
No, I agree, Kenny. Listen, thanks for coming on again, man. Massive game on Thursday. And then obviously we do the podcast on Friday.
Would the game take a head, though? Would the game have a head? Because we're hearing that we may have that protest. And remember,
listen, if it's as coordinated as the Man U ones today.
I'm not a stirrer. But remember, I'm not trying to stir the porridge. And I'm not trying to be a cross. But you know what happens. This is this. Remember, Arsenal and Man United fans have genuine long-term issues and dissatisfaction with their owners. Nothing to do with your ESL. This is bigger.
100%. Sky Sports have stoked that fire, Kenny, and they're getting everything they deserve tonight. Listen, thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate it. Let's go and watch the rest of the fallout from this before the Tottenham game starts. Thanks for coming on. Love you, man. Take care.
Love you too. Speak